talk about the subject which is not easy. Some teachers find too difficult to teach, which some students find too difficult to learn, but fortunately or unfortunately, teachers have to cope with or have to manage the classes with grammar. Okay, I'm going to talk about mixed ability grammar classes. I'm going to talk about grammar generally. I'm going to talk, and I will show you how I introduce and practice grammar with my students at different levels. I hope you will find some exercises interesting, motivating, amazing. I will show a lot of exercises from different course books, but it's not that I am just introducing a publisher, don't worry, okay? It is just to show you what I am doing, and I hope you will also have pleasure. I love, I love your webinars. Thank you, Natalka. I love you. I love all of you. First, I have to tell you that I love teaching, and I love teaching grammar. There isn't a problem I cannot teach. I can take every problem. I remember one of the workshops while I was going to talk about grammar, and then suddenly there was a question from the crowd, okay, because there is always the crowd at my webinars or at my workshops, and somebody said, what would you do if, okay, and there was a problem. I said, okay, no problems, I can do this or that. Then others say, okay, so what would you do with it? What would you do with that? So I didn't follow my plan, but I just answered the question. So it was a kind of exam for me, but I think that I successfully managed to do it. Okay, so I will share the screen if you don't mind, and I will switch to some exercises to show you what I actually do with grammar. When we teach small kids, okay, I hope you do, we also teach them grammar. Of course, we don't call it grammar, we call it functions. We never, okay, if you tell children we are going to talk about the grammar, they can ask you, do we eat grammar? Okay, what is grammar? They don't know. Okay, so we teach functions. They don't know that we are teaching grammar, but we do teach grammar. Okay, so for very small kids, I do recommend stories. You know that I love stories. I will show you a piece of my story, of one of the stories I tell. I record myself, okay? But whenever you introduce the function, whenever you introduce the language, it should be the language in context. Even in kindergarten, you say, what's this? And you say this is or it's something. Of course, you expect from students a dog, it's enough, it's good, but you have to show the language in the context. Okay? Even if you ask them, show me blue, show me yellow, show me the dog, they can say some part of the sentence in, for example, Polish and just blue or dog in English, it's okay. They are trying to make a sentence, even if the sentence is partly in their native language and partly in English, it's still okay. But it means that universal grammar, the device which is in our head, is working. So it's also good, okay? So stories, okay? And stories are in every books for kids, and I do love stories. What do I do with stories? Of course, we can ask children to open the books. We can ask children to read the story. We can ask children to listen to us telling story. It's okay, but we can do the thing like that, okay? First, children don't see the words. It is always like that. When we introduce vocabulary, first we show a flashcard and we ask a question, what's this? Okay. When we show a story, when we want to introduce a structure, we also don't show the words at the beginning. We just make children listen. Okay. So we can play the story. Okay. We can play the story one by one, picture by picture, okay, the whole story. But we can also stop at one picture, okay? So we listen, we make children listen first, because we should try to make children acquire the language, okay? And acquire the structure. It's not that we point to the structure. It's not the inductive way of teaching grammar to children, okay? It is just more, they just deduce what is going to be said. Then we can show the structure. What's this? Is it a rubber? Yes, it is, okay, etc. Okay, so we can make children listen.
2. Look and listen.
I hope you can hear.
What's this? Is it a rubber?
Okay, and you, as you have probably noticed, while listening and reading, children can see the structure. We don't ask them to look at the structure. We don't ask them to look at every particular word. They just see a sentence. They just see the structure. They just see or somehow acquire passively, maybe not that actively, the structure which we want them to learn.
Yes, it is. Nice.
Okay, so I do recommend that way. So that's the second way. Yes, so first, children can read. We read to children. We can make children listen. Children can listen. Okay, children can read and listen at the same time. And what is more, and what is even more interesting, children can.
What's this? Is it a rubber? Yes, it is.
Okay, they can watch the cartoon. Okay, so something moving. Then more senses are involved. And the more senses are involved, the better they will remember, the better they will acquire the language, okay? And what is even better, so it's the sixth time they can look at the story, we can make them, okay, I'm trying to take people, we can make them.
What's this? Is it a rubber? Yes, it is. Ha ha! Nice.
Okay, we can make them. For the seventh time, we can make them to see the story, and now they can watch moving things, cartoons, not a film, but it's not a problem. And we can make them read. So when we ask children to look at the text 7 times, you cannot tell me that they will not some of them will not acquire a little bit of the structure, okay? So it's the 7th time. What's more, then we should ask children to open their books. We should ask children to look at the pictures, okay? And we can ask questions. Not we can, we should ask questions. What can you see in the picture? How many books can you see in the picture? What is there on the table? What is there on the wall? Blah, blah, blah. Doesn't matter. You should ask questions. What's this? Is it a book? Is it a poster? Is it a ball? Is it blah, blah? So you can repeat the questions from the structure, from the prompt, you should repeat the structures you want children to learn, okay? So it's the 8th time we look at each picture that the story is made of. There are 4 pictures. Then 9th time to work with the text, to work with the structures, we can divide students into 4 groups. Why? Because there are 4 pictures. Okay, so we can divide children into 4 groups, and we can ask them to choose a picture, or we can make them. We can point the picture we want them to work with, and we can ask them to play the story. So they, when there are 4 children, they can choose picture number 1, and they can try to arrange the space in the classroom so as they can make the poster, okay, like that. And then they can ask questions. So we can have a theater, a living theater, we can have a living picture, we can have a living story that other students can look at, and they repeat over and over again the structures, okay? So it's the 10th time, okay? And there are four pictures, so at least we will have, when the class is quite small, at least we will watch every scene once, but maybe twice or maybe 3 times. It's not a problem, okay? Then when the moment comes, children have to do some grammar exercises because they will have to. It's not a problem for them. Then they will not have a problem doing the exercises. And of course, there should be the time for playing a game. For children, we should always play a game. Every lesson should finish with the game, which is based on the structure we are going, or we have already introduced, okay? And before children actually speak, they should listen.
Is it a tablet? Is it a notebook? No, it isn't. Yes, it is.
They should listen to structures. Not only should they listen, they should repeat the structures. Okay, and if you work with the text, with the stories like that, if you work with the structures the way I have already shown to you, it will not be a problem for children to acquire the language. Okay, these are small kids, but I do the same with children who are much older. I want to show you some other moment where I have a lot of books to show you, but I will not show all of them because it's impossible to show all of the books, okay? There are some books which have got videos for teenagers. I love them, and I love when the books have got grammar structures introduced with the video, okay? Then, doesn't matter, maybe part number 4, okay. And we have got the grammar here. You can see the grammar structures, okay? So that's the grammar we can actually introduce, okay? So when there is grammar, we can also introduce the grammar because it's a video, so we can introduce the grammar. Why not for kids? Moment. Let me look a little bit, not that difficult, so you can see the progress, but not that very. Okay. Yes, it is. Okay. Yeah. So just a quick must and have to. Okay. Look at the colors. I will show you later or what I do with colors, why grammar should be introduced with different colors. Okay, we just have a must and have to. Okay, students who are talented will not have problems acquiring, learning the structure from a text which they read, which you read to them, which they listen very quickly. But we have got different students. Everybody is different. Every class is different. Okay, so you know the students, so you know how much time you should spend on a particular grammar structure, so as everybody will at least try to learn it. Okay, so when you have more possibilities, you can make a choice. Okay, so when there are grammar structures introduced with the video, I do recommend. Okay, stories for children, for teenagers video, they can be real videos or they can be stories, doesn't matter. Okay, but still there are stories which we want children to learn. Okay, and then grammar is introduced.
Portal to grammar.
Okay.
3A.
Hey, Ron, be careful. You mustn't skateboard on the road. It's dangerous. Stay on the pavement. Okay. Look at this new stunt. Not now, Ron. We're in a hurry.
Okay, older children, more advanced students, more advanced video. And what can you do? You can just make students sit at the beginning of the lesson, and you can make students watch the video, okay? So at least they can hear the language you want to introduce and then which you want to practice later on, they can hear it in the context, okay? Not only can they watch, you can also ask them to watch and follow the
Hey, Ron, be
subtitles.
careful. You mustn't skateboard on the
Okay,
road.
as you have probably noticed, yeah, it's blue. Okay, and when you decide on introducing grammar points, I do recommend since the very beginning, since the very first lesson, please use blue color. It doesn't have to be blue, but decide on the color. So then when you write on the board, when you play a sentence on the board and you make it the color in students' heads, there will appear, or the drawer with grammar will be open. They will know that grammar is introduced that way. So I do recommend using colors. Then you don't have to say it's grammar, but when you show the grammar structure, when you write the grammar structure on the board and you do it with a color, then somehow students will acquire that the grammar is blue. Okay, so then when it is played like that, okay, they can see the difference and they can just pay more attention to the grammar structure which is being introduced, okay, that way. So it's really fantastic. And then we know why those structures are here in blue, because they are grammar structures. Yeah, so later on you can ask children, again, we have got stories, so we can ask children, we can ask students to work in pairs, and they can just play the story for us, okay? They can tell the story for us. They can say, oh, we don't remember. So you can play the video over and over again, and students may try to remember the sentences so as they can just play a pair work for you in front of the classroom. Okay, they are going to work in pairs, so we will have a lot of pairs in front. So sentences will be repeated. Okay, structures will be repeated, and students will learn from peers. Okay, so it's not the teacher who the teacher controls, the teacher supervises, but the teacher is not the person who introduces. The teacher is not the person who teaches. Okay, then it's more about the autonomy, and students who are not that talented, okay, will learn from others. The more times they can hear the sentence, it's better for them. Okay, and you know, the first pair in front of the class will be the most talented students. Okay, but then later on, even those who are not that talented can repeat sentences, okay, and then it's not a problem with that. Okay, yeah, so it was about the video, let's say, the grammar. Okay, and of course we have got also the video here, but I will show you what you can do with the text. Okay, here we have got just a short text, but I will show you what I do with it. Okay, this is the text students can work. Okay, and we have got a lot of different grammar structures, grammar points here. You can use the colors, which I love, and I know they work for students who are very talented and those who are not that talented. Let's decide that blue is the color for verbs. Okay, so we can just, okay, let's try. Okay, so it's not okay easy, but still we can just use the the blue color, and so just continue with blue, just showing the verbs. Okay, I will stop now just to give you the prompt. Then we have got verbs. So now we can work with students on verbs. Okay, so we can ask them to give us the second form. We can ask them to make sentences with the verbs. We can ask them to make questions with the verbs, okay? We can ask them to create the story. We can ask them to make, to ask teachers, to ask us teachers the questions, okay? So a lot of work with verbs, okay? Next time they come, the same text, we can choose the, let's say, red, and every noun, okay? Okay, here we have got not many nouns, but it's not a problem. Okay, but still we have got some nouns, let's say, okay? And now we can work with nouns. We can ask about the second form. We can ask about, not the second form, we can ask about the plurals. We can we can ask children to make a story. We can ask children to put the verb, the nouns in an order in accordance to the alphabet, okay? We can ask them to make a sentence so as it will include as many nouns as possible. Over and over again, okay? Next time they come, the same text, it can be yellow, and then we can talk about adjectives, okay? And adjectives can be, let's say, okay, yellow. Then we can talk about comparatives of adjectives, okay? So over and over again, okay? And it will not take you a lot of time, but from time to time we should make students to work with grammar points. We should make them be careful or be cautious that grammar exists, and how it works they can easily notice, okay? I like working with colors, okay, because then there are more adjectives, more nouns, adverbs, etc., etc. But every time I work with teenagers and secondary school, even at universities, I do the same, okay? I choose the same colors, okay? So nouns are always blue, etc., etc., okay? So I don't change the colors. It's really easy. It's really maybe it's not that easy, okay? But it's not that bad. You can also ask students to bring newspapers. You can ask students to bring magazines. You can divide them into pairs. You can divide them into groups. And then they can work on one article from the magazine, on one article from the newspaper, and they can look for verbs, they can look for nouns, they can look for adjectives, adverbs, etc., etc., okay? And then they can look at structures which are there, okay? So they will learn from one another, not only from the teacher, but if you come back to such a work a few times during the year, in their heads, they will see verbs in blue, they will see nouns in red. It is good for students who are not that talented, but it works for students who are talented as well. It's not that everybody will be successful. Sorry, I will take a photo because I need a photo of me. Okay, thank you. Okay, so it is for student teenagers. That's I love working with grammar, okay? And now secondary school students, let's say, pre-intermediate level, there are more and more grammar exercises, okay? I will show you a book, but I love students playing games. They can play board games, they can make their own board games, but thanks to multimedia, of course, you may have some games, why not, okay? You can also ask students to create such sentences, okay? Okay, yeah, so let's imagine that they work, okay, and of course, time is here, okay, so they don't have that much time. You can divide students into groups, okay, and okay, somebody's coming. And the answer is here, let's say, check. Okay, now the game becomes a teaching tool. Okay, for students, it's good, it's relaxing because they are playing a game. For us, even a game is a teaching tool. Okay, these are the sentences taken from one module. So these are the structures we want students to learn, we want students to know after the module. It's not like that we always have to organize tests. It's good. Tests are good, it's okay, but not only do we have to make them write tests, they can also learn from games, okay? And when the sentence is good, it's well done, the signal tells them that it is good, but we have got the sentence, so they can see the structure and they can listen.
What do you usually do in the evening?
They can listen, okay? And it doesn't matter if students guess or may give us the correct answer or incorrect one, still the program shows us the answer. Imagine that the answer is not the good one, okay? Okay, be careful. Okay, the signal tells us that it is wrong. We have got the correctly written sentence. Okay, and the program makes it like that the sentence will be repeated. Okay? So students come to the same sentence again, so as they can just correct themselves. Okay, we have got a correctly written sentence, and we can continue. We can also decide that, or they can decide they don't know, so they can ask for a hint. Then they can okay, or maybe they can skip, they don't know. Okay, so it even if the answer is correct, even if the answer is not correct, even if they don't know the answer, still the program shows us the sentence which is correctly written and correctly pronounced. It is very important. It is really, really, really important, because then students know what to say. Okay, so games at the beginning of the module, why not? Then we can check how much grammar students know or how much grammar students don't know. Okay? It is the same about words, but today we are just talking about grammar. Okay, when there are tests, it's not like that we should ask students only to work to write tests. We can come to tests together. Okay, so we can prepare a sentence, okay, an exercise like that with present simple, present progressive, okay? And when we know that our students are not that talented, we can help them. I mean, we can show them some answers. Okay, then we know that students who are not that talented will not have to fill in all the gaps. They can fill some of the gaps, okay, and it will be easier for them. Yeah, students who are more talented can work on all the sentences. You can put students in pairs, and then when they work in pairs and when they are to work out the grammar points in pairs, it will be much easier for them. Those talented will help less talented. But of course, it's not like that all the time. They should work with a talented student. Okay, but from time to time we can make some changes. Okay, and of course then we can call out the answers. Then we put the answers here, as you have probably noticed that these are dialogues. I love grammar is put in dialogues because it makes the grammar a living point. They can see that the grammar is a living thing. They can see that grammar is important if we want to communicate, because we communicate. If we want our partner to understand what we are talking, the grammar should be the good grammar. Okay, so now let's imagine that they have given us answers. All the answers are here. We can ask students to look at the dialogue, and we can ask students to try to remember one of the dialogues. Okay, we can ask them to try to remember 2 of the dialogues, okay? Or we can ask them to remember as many dialogues as possible, okay? And we can make a thing like that. They cannot see the questions, they cannot see the answers, they cannot see the dialogues. So now we can ask them to write the dialogues. Okay, if they are not that talented, they can try to remember even 1 dialogue, and they will try to write even 1 dialogue. Okay, we give them, of course, time. We make them write, we ask them to write, we wait, then we show the dialogues again, and we ask them, okay, try to remember 1 of the dialogues, try to remember 2 of the dialogues. Now they know that they are going to copy the dialogues, okay? So they will look at sentence, they will look at structure, they will try to remember the maybe not the pronunciation, because now they are not going to talk, but they are going to write, so the spelling, okay? And again, we cover the we cover the page, and again they are writing sentences, okay? And now we can say, okay, you can write 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 dialogues, okay? A few more, but you can give them points for 1 point for 1 dialogue, 2 points, etc., etc. Okay, okay. And let's imagine that all the dialogues somehow have been written by our students. Now we can ask them to choose a dialogue they want to present in front of the classroom. So they choose a partner, okay, and they can practice the dialogue. Or we can ask students, okay, who has got dialogue number 1, okay? And we have got 4 or 5 students who have got number 1. Then we can ask them to sit together, and we have got a group, okay? And they have got just 1 dialogue. Then we have got who has got dialogue number 2, 3, etc. So we can have 5 groups now, okay? Randomly chosen, okay? We can ask them to make a performance, but they have to create a dialogue, a longer dialogue, but it must include the dialogue which is on the board, the dialogue they have written on their pieces of paper. Okay? So what I have already told you, it means that they work, they spend more time with 1 exercise, but the more time they spend with grammar, the more time they spend with repeated grammar structures, the better they will remember. And it will be some more personal. It will be the autonomy of our students, because they are working with partners. So we teach them how to learn from others. We will teach them how to teach others, okay? How to make the dialogue be a living dialogue, okay? I started with stories for small kids, but still we are working with teenagers, we are working with secondary school students, and still there are stories we want them to create, because the language is in the left hemisphere, but the right hemisphere has got pictures. So when they create a story, there are links between left, they make the links between left and right. Okay, so the links are stronger. The more places in our brain we use, the better we remember the language. Okay, and if they work with the structures over and over again, when they try to write the dialogues, when they try to write a story, when they try to create a scene, a performance, they will have to come to the grammar point over and over again, and then when they present the dialogue in front of the scene, the performance in front of the classroom, they learn how to perform, they use really good language, they try to use really good language, and they repeat the structures, and the structures are not only learned, but also acquired. And that's what is the most important thing, okay? And of course, we have got the structures like that, so we can also use with secondary school students the colors, and then we can talk about nouns. Okay, then we can talk about adjectives. Yes, adjectives were okay. This is the okay. Okay, there are no adjectives here. Okay, yeah, whatever. Okay, we have got the adverbs. Okay, so they can be violet, let's say, whatever. Okay, late. Okay, so yeah, so we can again come to the colors, and if we work with students who are 7 and then we continue with them till they are 15, 16, 17, you can use the same techniques, you can use the same model or models of a lesson. They will know what you are going to do with them, and then they will learn. It will be easier for them even to acquire the grammar points, okay? And the same about the, let's say, texts, okay? When there are texts, all the grammar points which are practiced, all the grammar points which are practiced are introduced here with a text, okay? And you can ask secondary school students or even grown-up people to look at the text, try to find the grammar structures, okay, but it is not that interesting, it is not amazing. But if we ask students to talk fast, we try to elicit the language from them. These are the questions which involve the language which will be introduced here. So the grammar points may appear. If you play a game, which I have already shown you, with the grammar points which are here, students somehow will acquire or will see the grammar points, okay? If we make the text, which is the text to be listened, the text to be read, the text to be listened, okay? Then students can hear the language, okay? So like with small kids, the same. There were stories. Here we have got text to read and listen at the same time. Only then we can ask students to look at questions. We can make them understand the questions. We can ask them to look at the text and find the answers. Probably they will see the structures, may, could, the structures which are going to be practiced later on. The more times they look at the text in such a lovely way, the better they will remember. Then when we have got the answers, okay, we can ask students to look at the text again, to find out the parts of the sentences which can be the proof to the answers, okay? Probably then they could notice the grammar points which we are going to practice somehow, okay? It is not that we look here, find the grammar point, okay? No, we just underline it, we just emphasize, we just make the color, and then somehow the grammar point is here, okay? Then we can easily switch to the grammar points here. May, can, we're able to. So when you do things like that, when you spend more time with a text, which is going to be listened by students, which is going to be read by students, okay? The more chances for you that students will notice the grammar, the more chances for you that you will not have to teach the grammar. You just show and they know that it is grammar, okay? But of course, with students who are secondary school students, grammar should be discussed. Okay, I love talking about grammar, even if we like introducing grammar in an inductive way. Okay, the moment comes that we should talk about grammar, we should talk about the structures, but in such a lovely way. Okay, and we can take the grammar, maybe the grammar, we can take some information from them, okay? And when they see that the grammar is in a text, that the grammar is in a dialogue, when they can make a dialogue with the grammar points, they can see grammar is important, the grammar is needed, and the grammar is worth spend time with on whatever you want to say. Okay, and of course, when there are speaking things, then we have got the use of grammar students can acquire. Okay? And we've got the structures here. And the good thing is that students can again see the clues which we want them to use while making the dialogue, the questions, the sentences, but I also like suggested answer. Okay, it is fantastic because less talented students may see the dialogue. If you have many less talented students, you can start with the model. Okay, so those who are less talented will look at the model and will try to make the dialogue. They can even copy the model. Okay, they can even repeat the model here. It's not a problem. Those who are more talented will look at the model, but will try to make some substitutions. Okay, they will try to put their own sentences, maybe not sentences, maybe their own words. Okay, and the most talented students will try to make their own dialogue. Okay, but at least they can compare. They can see what language they are using and what language is being used here. Okay, we can make students listen to the dialogue before they actually make they actually perform their dialogues. Okay, so that they can listen to.
Good morning, sir. Where are you flying to?
Okay? They can listen to the structures. They can listen to the intonation, and they can copy the intonation. They can copy the language. It's good. There are grammar structures there. Okay, so they can look at it and they can really learn. And when they see that the grammar is a living grammar, it's not a problem for them then to go to the grammar section and to do some exercises which are here. Okay, and again, we have got sentences. We can discuss the sentences. These are situations. Okay, so then again, we can ask students to try to remember, and we can ask students, okay, again and again. I love covering. I love when students have to look very carefully at the questions, at the sentences, at the words, and I like covering. And then when they have to copy, okay, we can ask them, okay, if you try to write all the 5 sentences, then you can get a good mark, whatever. Okay, it doesn't matter. They will try to remember. Okay, so then grammar is a living thing, and then grammar is not maybe it's not easy. It's never easy. Okay, but we should try to make it as lively, as amazing as possible. Okay, I love working with grammar. Okay, when teachers enter the classroom and when they say, oh, again, grammar, oh my God, what for is grammar, but we will have to do it. Okay, but if you just put it into the lesson, if you make students do some vocabulary work, then it is normal that you ask them to do some grammar points. Okay, but if you organize and if you make students be aware that grammar exists, and if you make them sure that what they do with grammar is worth the effort, and when they compare their answers to suggested answers and they don't make mistakes, then they are really satisfied. And if you make them watch the videos which do have some grammar points and they do understand the grammar points,
Well, maybe not the expert.
But what drawing
okay, etc., etc. Okay,
many years before computers were.
okay. you can, yeah,
Georgia. Yes.
sorry, I can.
I love you.
Okay, I will some. Okay, what how I also work with videos. Okay, for secondary school students, I do play a video, and I ask students to put down to note the grammar structures they can see, they can hear. Sorry. So let's listen.
But it only has a population of about 24 million. That means there are about 3 people for every square kilometre. Compared to the UK, there are 250 people per square kilometre.
Oh, sorry, I didn't want, I just wanted to, sorry, to
24 million.
Okay, so I play, I don't know, 1 minute of the video, 1.5 or 2 minutes of the video, and I ask students to put down, to notice the grammar points. Okay, there are, it means, okay, whatever they notice, it's okay. Yes, they put it down. I ask them what they have, then I make them to watch the video, and I show the subtitles, and they can see. Okay, yeah.
But it is also a continent. It is the 6th largest country in the world, but it only has a population of about 24 million. That means there are about 3 people.
Okay, then they can compare, and then we can say, okay, the structure, moment, I will just, okay. Is this also the grammar structure? Is it also grammar, the 6th largest country? Is it grammar? It is or not, okay? So then somehow they notice that the whole sentence, that every sentence has got a grammar point. But of course, for them, it is, for students who are secondary school students, it's not grammar, because they know it. Okay, so they sometimes call grammar the points they do not understand. Okay, the problems they have, then the problems are called grammar. Okay, so then you can make them, you can make them think over that. Okay, we know it is, we know to be, so for us to be is such an easy grammar item we don't think about. Okay, so then we can talk about the grammar structures they are seeing, the grammar structures they can notice, and we can make them make sentences. Okay, with the grammar structures, there is, there are, it is, largest, whatever grammar points they can notice, and only then. It is how we work with the video. Then we can ask them to work with the grammar, with the exercises we have for grammar. We have for the video. Okay, so then because usually it is like that we work with the video, so as we want our students to learn something, for example, about Australia. So from the video we want them to get some general knowledge. Okay, and usually we also talk about words. We teach them, or we pre-teach them words, because we may think that these are the words they should know to understand the text. But very often, we teachers forget about grammar, which is also connected with the video, because all the sentences include grammar points. Okay, so if you work with the video like that, at first we talk about grammar structures, about grammar points which are mentioned there, students will get from the video even more, because they will acquire video. They will acquire grammar somehow. Okay, as you can see here, is, arrived, are. Okay, largest, larger. Okay, so we have got adjectives here. A lot of grammar points. We have past simple, we have got present, to be, etc., etc., and we have got adjectives here. Okay, and if we start talking about grammar, then they will somehow acquire the grammar. They will notice the grammar even without thinking about it. Okay, and of course we can continue with all the sentences, and when there comes to the discussion, and if we ask them to talk about, if we ask them to give us answers, then the grammar will be much better. Then the teachers may be more than sure that they will use the correct grammar structures or better grammar structures they would use without us giving them the chance to talk about grammar before discussing the exercises connected with the video. Okay, and of course we have got suggested answers. So we can make them listen to suggested answers. We can make them listen and read the suggested answer, and we can make them compare the answers which are presented here with their own answers. And we can, of course, discuss the grammar points which are mentioned here. Okay, seems okay. And of course, okay, adjectives were to be, let's say, okay, okay, and then we can say more and most interesting, like large, larger, the largest. Okay, so we can even discuss the grammar points with the use of suggested answer, and then compare with the grammar points they used while writing the sentences. Okay, so it's up to you how you work with grammar, but I do recommend spending more time with texts which students listen. With text, students are to talk about, and with text, students are to to do. Okay, I hope you like the grammar exercises. Okay, do you have any questions? Do you have any comments? Okay, are there any comments? Are there any questions?
I don't.
Did you like the exercise? Okay. Somebody's asking about the recording. We have got somebody. Oh, there are some people. Okay. Maybe there are. Okay, there are some of the ways. Okay, I do teach grammar. Okay, but maybe you have got some other ideas. No ideas. No questions.
I don't see anything in the chat box.
Okay.
Just visual communication, yes. Colorful hearts, but very, very meaningful visual communication. Thumbs up, yes. So that tells you a lot, yes. Without pictures speaks a million words. Yes?
Yeah, maybe that's why I started with pictures, with stories. Okay, that's why. Okay. Oh, I like the idea with asking the students to make their own board games. Yeah, I think it's a good one. Yeah, they can make board games. Why not? Oh, somebody said that, Natalka, that I will use your ideas. Thank you. It's good. Maybe that's why people are asking if it is going to be on YouTube, because I tried to show a lot of examples, a lot of ideas. Okay,
and as usual.
Yeah. Okay, because one idea is not enough. Okay, so maybe too fast. Okay. Oh, the great idea for the colors. Really, it works. There are some researches on the colors, so we should use colors while discussing grammar. And please use graded readers. Okay, it works really, really, really fantastic with colors and the grammar. Okay, so it may seem that grammar is easy. Of course, it's not. Okay. But we should try to make it useful, and we should try to make students see that grammar is useful. That's why I finished with the video and I showed you that all the structures, all the sentences are grammar sentences, okay? And then students say, oh, without grammar, we cannot make a sentence, okay? So I think it's great. It's great.
And it can be fun if you do it, you do it.
Yeah, when students perform in front of the classroom, okay, why not, okay? Funny faces, whatever, okay, it's still nice. I think there are no more questions. People don't want to talk to us.
Yes,
Nobody?
there is a new trend. Yes, there is a new trend that people would like to stay hidden safely in their comfort zone while learning from us during webinars. But we should respect it, I think.
Of course. No. We will not point to people talking. It's okay. No. No, but sometimes, sometimes people just want to say, but when they write that they find them useful, it's okay. For me, it's a pleasure to be here again. I think they wanted to be here, okay? It's the time, I think, taken from their families, okay, to be with us. So a great respect to those who have decided to be here. Hope to see you soon, maybe not this year, school year. I think we will start webinars
No,
next
you
year.
have a webinar on the 7th of June.
Yeah, sorry, yes, I know. It is the one I didn't have. Yes, sorry. Okay, when is the sorry.
The
Okay,
webinar,
no,
the
no.
next webinar with Ula, so that everybody knows, including the speaker, the next
Yeah.
webinar with Ula will be on the 7th of June. Yes, and that is the
Yes,
one that has been rescheduled. So you will have an opportunity to learn something else from Ula during this year, and next year, just you wait. We will see.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Natalka is writing. Can't wait for another. Okay, and hope we'll see in September in Wrocław at IATEFL conference. I will be there.